Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's installment of What's Happening at the Collection, we're working on my 5-ton, the M923-A2, affectionately referred to as Big Army. And you'll see why here in just a minute. I call it Big Army. So in the video on the 151, I mentioned that the 5-ton has 4 batteries. And this is actually under the passenger compartment. You can see the seat folded up right there. So the passengers sit on 4 big, huge batteries. Getting everything charged up, of course, using my standard 24-volt charger. And like all military vehicles, as I mentioned in the other video, typically you hook it up to the slave receptacle here, which actually mounts on the outside of the truck. You can see it right there. And if you have dead batteries, you know, you can jump it off and whatnot. I don't use that. I've got it disconnected simply because those jumper cables are ridiculously expensive. Like I said in the other video, I can raise the seat and charge it for free. So this is the setup in here in the wiring. And if you ever take these out, if you have to put new batteries, whatever, it behooves you to pay attention to this. And that's why they put it there. That's the wiring diagram. And boy, do they mean it. Otherwise, you end up with a situation you don't want. So if you ever pull your batteries, definitely pay attention to that. But for those that have never been around a 5-ton, this is what it takes to crank it. You know, they're designed to operate in the Arctic. These big, huge motors, which I'll show in the video here in just a minute. Thick, cold oil, got to have power. And with these 4 batteries, whew, you've got some power. So we're putting the batteries on charge today, getting them maintained. And they're already above 80% because my little green light's blinking. So we'll be firing it off. Later today, I'll do that in a separate video because it's just noisy. It makes a lot of noise. So there's a quick view of the battery compartment. So we'll back out here. Now, to give you guys an idea how big this truck is. So it doesn't look that big in the video, but I'm gonna move the cable so I don't chomp it. I'm gonna push the door up. Let's move that cable too. We don't want to chomp that one. So here's the door, okay? The door handle is exactly 6'6" off the ground. My arm is fully stretched out. That's the door handle. Literally 6'6" at the door handle. That's how tall the truck is. And the tires, of course, are massive. This one does have the CTAS, which does not work. They're notorious for not working. I had all that disconnected. Otherwise, it just leaks down and all you have is problems. So I don't have to worry about that. So here is the engine bay. Got the hood up, and I'll get to an important point on the hood here in just a minute. Obviously, we're going to be checking our belt, make sure nothing's got in here gnawed on it. The old girl set a little while. You see the cobwebs there. She set through the winter, and going to be firing it off. Reservoir tank is right there for the coolant. You can see the lines. You check the. Let me climb up here. I'll give you a tour. You check the transmission fluid right there. You see the little T handle. That's where it is. I climb on up here without falling because it is quite high when you're up here. So here's kind of a top view. There's the intake for the heater coil, of course, horn, a wasp that wants to say hello. Hello, Mr. Wasp. How are you doing? Of course, the cooling fan, the radiator is just, oh, the radiator's massive. God. Got the hood jacked up, and I'll show you that in just a second. But just, checking everything. I mean, look at the size of the motor mounts in the starter. That starter is ridiculous. I have had to put a starter and starter solenoid on it, but it's I think this is a 90 or 91 model, so you would expect to have some issues. There's the turbo. This version has the CTAS and the turbo, which is the later version. Inline 6, I believe it's either 700 or 800 foot-pounds of torque, and right at 250 horsepower, something like that. Pretty powerful truck. Easily do 60 miles an hour down the highway. The downside is, with these big tires, it's kind of difficult to balance them. So, you kind of have to be careful with that because if they get out of balance, it'll knock your fillings out. So the only known issue with this truck, and as we're working our way around the front, I want to point out how the hood latches. There's the tag, says Big Army. So you notice, so this bar here, when it's not in use, it actually attaches right there and it folds up out of the way. But this is how you support the hood to work on it. And it goes in with this pin. And it's windy today. It was a booger getting up because the wind's blowing against it. You put that pin in. If you have one of these and you're working on it, make sure you do that. Otherwise, you're inside a guillotine. I mean, it'll rock a little bit, but it won't come out. It is critically important that you make sure that pin's all the way in and locked. And of course the chain up front. To give you an idea how big that chain is, there's my wrist. And literally the links are the same size as my wrist. That chain weighs just a stupid amount. Keep that on there if you ever have to pull anybody out or anything like that. I've cleared a lot of roads with it. When we have snowstorms here, I take kids home from school in it when no other vehicles are moving. Big Army's put a lot of smiles on a lot of faces. If I had $1 for every kid that got a ride in this truck, I'd be a rich man. So, as I mentioned, the only thing wrong with it. So the only thing wrong with this truck is this seal. And they're kind of notorious for going out. You can see the grease spot on the ground. And thankfully, it's pretty easy to fix. You see the seal there with a clamp, and it's just got those bolts that go all the way around. It's actually a zipper seal. You can't see it there, but you can see the top part of the zipper right there. The other side's good. That side's not leaking. She's in good shape. So here's an interesting view. There's view under it. Truck's 25 feet long and empty, like it sits right now. No fuel, no crew, nothing. It weighs 12 tons. It's massive. But thankfully, we're in good shape. Got just a touch of a leak, which is to be expected from the oil pan. I mean, they leak. If you ever find a military vehicle that doesn't leak, you better buy it or put fuel in it and fluid in it, because it's probably out. Temperature changes will cause it to do that. The metal contracting, expanding. This is an 80-degree day. It's been in the 20s, so yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of a leak. But yeah, the only issue currently, besides that, is this seal. And it's kind of funny. The reason that there's no fluid dripping, that tire's a little low too, is because all the fluid has dripped out. There's a tear in it. I don't know if you guys can see it right there. So the grease has at least dripped down to that location, and you can see where it just kind of ran out and came down on the ground. But that is currently the only known issue with Big Army. She's been a good truck. She's been a real good truck. Always has been. I've had it, oh God, 16, 17 years now. So again, here's a view under it. I'll get that checked when the mechanic comes out. We're going to do a complete fluid flush anyway, so he'll make sure he gets that. That seal's good, but we're going to replace it. And I'll kind of give you guys a tour of the back of it there. So on this side, crawl out from under it. It's a big truck. I mean, it's a big truck. Air intake, as you saw coming from the other side, comes down here. And now this one has the snorkel on it. So no, it's right here. I'm sorry, my mistake. I get all of them confused. So this truck has the snorkel kit. It's the height of the top of the roof, so it's about 8 feet, 8.5 feet. And again, theoretically, you could drive it in water over your breath, hold your breath. So the air intake comes in, goes through that massive air filter, and then comes up, goes around, and goes in the motor. Let's see, moving on around to this side, 82 or 83 gallon fuel tank. I think it's an 82. It's painful to fill that up, and you don't get many miles. This thing is more gallons to the mile than miles to the gallon. Truthfully, realistically, it probably gets 5, maybe. And it doesn't care if it's loaded or unloaded. It gets about 5. There's the spare tire. And you see the crane up there for taking the spare tire off if you have to lower it down. That assembly weighs about 400 pounds. You do not want to try that by yourself. It's a multi-soldier job, and that's what the crane's for. So this is coming on around to this side. Here's the rear drive wheels. The suspension, which is just, incredible. Being a 5-ton, of course, that means that off-road it can take 10,000 pounds, and on-road I believe they can take 20,000 pounds. So that rating is for the off-road. I've got some stuff in the back of it right now, but you guys can see in the back of it. I got some ladders and things back here. That's the original top. Needs to be replaced. Typically when I give rides, I roll it up and roll the sides up. But that kind of gives you an idea how big the old girl is. But this is next on the maintenance list. Get the old girl back going again. And here's the inside of it, the driver's compartment. So you can see all the controls and gauges. Now, the early versions of this, like the old Deuce and halves, they were no power steering and manual. And I've got a 66 Deuce, fully restored. It's a great truck. It's got the multi-fuel whistling turbo engine in it. Sounds great, looks great. It's a booger to drive because, again, no power steering and it's a manual. Shifts like a Russian tractor. However, the 5 tons, as you can see, is an automatic, and you can't tell by looking, but it is power steering. And man, does that make it easier. And the box you see right there disconnected, where the wire's disconnected, that's the CTIS. You can actually program in the PSI you want on the tires. You can take it all the way down to sand/emergency, and it's either 10 or 20 PSI. And hardball, which is normal pavement, is 60 PSI. And you got the different settings there that you can click, and it goes up and down. But I've got that disconnected because they never worked right from the factory. So there's a little view of the inside, of course, driver's seat, and you can see I'm 5'8", okay, and I'm standing on the ground. I'm gonna take the camera and go just eyes level. It's literally at the bottom of the door. That's how big this truck is. Yeah, there's the top of the cab. It's funny, when I drive this truck, I'm sitting about 4 inches higher than the drivers of tractor trailers, and it's funny. They look down. They're not just looking down on vehicles, but they give me this weird look every time they do that. It's just funny. I'm 4 inches. Sorry, I've said that backwards. I'm 4 inches higher than them. They look up at me. I'm looking down at them. They're not used to looking up at anybody being in a vehicle that big. So there's another quick view of the engine bay. It's pretty uncluttered. These guards come off so you can get in there and work on it. There's the power steering box. And there's some of the hydraulic fittings for the power steering box to give you an idea of just how heavy duty. There's the steering column. That's 1.5 inch shaft. Oh God. I mean, this thing is heavy duty. There's the fuel drain. Get the water out of your fuel. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, this is next on the maintenance list. We get that seal fixed down there on the wheel, and in the next video I'll fire it off and you guys can see her come to life. So as always, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoy the content. Just a new little series of videos I'm doing, just kind of a, in the daily life of, to kind of give you a behind the scenes of what all goes on here and the maintenance required to keep all these monsters running. So as always, if you enjoyed the content, please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching.